Hey guys, welcome back to the Data Engineering with Animesh. And today I'm going to spend some time with you to speak about what to study about data engineering interview, how to prepare for any data engineering interview. So be with me for the next 3 to 4 minutes, and you will get a list of topics that you need to prepare for any of the data engineering interviews from freshers to the most experienced one. Firstly, you should know what data engineers do. Basically, the role of data engineers comes somewhere between roughly between the data generators and data analyst or data scientist. So we are in between layer. We help data analysts or data scientists with the data. We take care that data should be present at proper place in a proper time in a proper format as required by data analyst or the data scientist team. We help in data migration. We create data migration pipelines. We clear up the data. We remove unwanted data. Sometimes we generate report around the data and do validation stuff, do certain analysis on the data to remove some bad data and stuff. So that is the what can you say in a nutshell the role of data engineers. So the few topics that you need to prepare for these data engineering interview, the first and the most important is SQL. You should have knowledge of SQL whether you are giving for any fresher level interview exam for data engineers or you are giving any senior level or mid level exam for data engineering. SQL is a must topic and you will find questions on SQL everywhere. So prepare the basic queries. Don't straight get to the what you say window partitions and complex query. Most 80 to 90% of the interviews, including the bigger companies that I interviewed for and got rejected, they started with very basic questions because they wanted to know how you know SQL. Don't mug up the queries because they go for logic as well. Suppose you have written a query, they ask you to show how this query is working. So get to the basics, start from very basic, and then slightly move to the more complex one while grasping the basic very strongly. Okay. The second and the most important again, I think I will give both an equal weightage would be a Python coding. Now, when I say Python, the questions of Python can be anywhere around the what you say the concepts of Python means the basics data type, how this certain functions around string, list, tuple, and to the coding problem as well. Coding can be easy or tough depending upon the level and the company you're being interviewed for. When I interviewed, I was interviewed for Apple. The program that gave me completely shook me off because I didn't get an idea what to do and it was a Python code only. But for several other companies, I was able to crack the Python code. So it depends upon the interviewer, but I will suggest you first go through the concept. You can go through W3 School, Geeks for Geese, and make a note of all the important functions, topics, and different things that can clear you up with a concept level of Python, and then go for programming. You can don't opt for lead code directly because lead code has some advanced level of programming. Uh, First, some basic level programs like palindrome, Armstrong number, uh, just to get a hands-on on how to write the code, basic functions. Pick up any code and make certain basic function and then compile the code with the help of function and then go for data structure and algorithm questions on lead code, and you can easily solve them using Python or any other language you are preparing for. The third one would be data modeling. Now, many people confuse SQL with data modeling, but these are completely different. The SQL question will be mostly around the queries, and data modeling would be how you are going to prepare the table. So this is another very important topic for data engineers because when we are working on the data, we have to see how the data is stored or how new data would be stored. So we spend a lot of time on data modeling stuff. So this would be basically theoretical and conceptual. You don't have to write any code or such, just you have to present your own way how can you design or store this data. Now it depends upon the interviewer how he sees your explanation, and then only he can decide whether you are efficient enough for that role or not. So there's no right and wrong answer, but they are trying for the most efficient way to store the data. Okay. The fourth topic would be, though it is not that much asked because if these three topics are covered, but yeah, pandas or Spark. So basically, learning both together is slightly confusing because the data frames RDDs are somewhat similar. I have worked on both, so I work mostly with pandas, so I have more command on that. but any one of these will help you to crack the interviews. Now companies are mostly asking for Spark because with the introduction of AWS Spark architecture, most of the jobs are executing on Spark. So I would suggest go for the basic of Pandas and then start studying with Spark, because Spark has lot of concept that you need to know. So the Spark would be more of a conceptual thing to you. So study Spark and Pandas. So these are the five topics that you need to prepare for your any data engineering interviews. Model your resume around these topics only, and I promise that you would be able to crack 70 to 80% of the interviews if you uh, did a hard work on these five topics. I'm summing this in only one topic because Pandas and Spark, I believe, because when I studied both of them, I find very similarity between how you handle data frames, how you handle data sets, and in each other. Some functions are also very similar, so I try to study them together. You can opt for one first and then go for the other one, and then you can match out the similarities. So I hope I have given you certain idea on how to prepare at least for the data engineering interviews, how to start preparing for data engineering interviews. If you have any doubt regarding how to prepare for data engineering interviews, just drop in a comment and I will connect with you and will help you out my level best. So I'm also a student studying the data engineering stuff, working in data engineering field for the last 6 years. So I'm sharing this with all my experience. So stay tuned on my channel. I will be back with another pattern and lead code Python questions. Till then, goodbye.